What do you think a decade-long nap at this point in your life would feel like? I was 17 when I got into a car accident and fell into a coma. I woke up 10 years later, and the first thing I saw was my mom crying. I tried to speak, but my voice was weak. She hugged me and called for the doctor. After a few days, I could finally talk. I asked my mom where my dad was, and she told me he was at work. I didn't think much of it. A few weeks later, I was finally able to go home. I noticed a lot of things had changed. My mom had a new car, and our house was completely different. I asked her about it, and she said they had to move because they couldn't afford the old one. I asked her why, and she told me it was because of my hospital bills. I felt horrible. A few days later, I asked her again where my dad was. She told me he was at work. I asked her what he did, and she said he was a janitor. I was confused because he used to be a lawyer. I asked her why he was a janitor, and she told me it was because he lost his job. I asked her why, and she told me it was because he was always at the hospital with me and couldn't focus on work. I started crying. I felt like I ruined their lives. A few days later, my dad came home. He was so happy to see me. I hugged him and told him I was sorry. He asked me why, and I told him it was because I ruined his life. He told me I didn't ruin anything and that he would do it all over again if he had to.